fellas, not even Michael Jordan had a perfect shooting percentage when he was active in the NBA, which means it's okay for all of us to have an off night from time to time. But when it comes to fixing off nights in the sack, the answer does not lie with a sketchy gas station pill or a boner pill filled with crazy side effects. Oh, no, no, no. The answer comes from joy mode. Oh, yeah. Because whether you're happy or unhappy with your bedroom performance, why not perform even better? I bet your partner would like that. Enjoy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sexy time. Oh yeah. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. And best of all, Joy Mode is safe and backed by science. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. Plus, all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. So I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. It's small enough to fit in your wallet and take with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion to take you to sexy town. Oh, yeah. So don't miss your chance to up your game in the bedroom, people. Go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FRATCHAT. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FRATCHAT at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. It's Joy Mode, people. And we are recording.
And we are recording.
Yeah. I like your very white background this week.
Oh, you know what? I need art on this wall.
Yeah, it makes me feel like you're sad or something.
Because you know what? I took everything in my bedroom from one side to the other side. You know, gay people love to rearrange all the time. It feels like a new apartment. But I don't have any artwork on this wall, so it's a work in progress.
Well, you can just say that you're gonna bring the color into your life. Yes.
You know, I think I could benefit from an accent wall, but also I'm a little obsessed with like fun wall clings because it's temporary and I don't want to commit to anything. But they have really cool like wall clings. You know, you can get a wall cling that looks like you're looking out of a window.
Really?
Yeah, like
That's
3D. Wild. Or I can get a couple like NBA athletes like stuck on my wall. You know what I mean? Like I can do anything I want. I can make this room anything I want with a wall cling.
You mean to tell me that you could be sitting in front of LeBron James's dong right now? That would be fucking wow.
I could be sitting on it. I could back up against it.
I think you found your answer, sir.
There you go.
Which is me.
Booyah.
Anyways.
All right, freak out party.
We're gonna do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge.
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the Frat Chat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Boogie Seymour.
What's up, man? I'm good. Is it called Freak Out Party or Freak Party or Freakazoid or what's it called? The Big Freak?
I think they were called Freak Off.
Freak Offs. Freak Off Party.
Yeah.
I'm great, man. How are you? What's new with you?
Well, I'm living the dream. I was going to ask you how your social life has been ever since your freak off parties are no longer happening while your friend's not around,
I just want to make it clear to our listeners that I was never invited to the freak off parties.
He just snuck
in through the back window. As a sex toy at the freak off parties.
That's right.
A minimum wage.
There is a difference. One of them was by choice, and the other one is employment. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's tough times out there. Oh
I
man,
wasn't trafficking, I wasn't pimping, I wasn't enjoying myself. A job is a job, and I literally drenched myself in lube and baby oil and inserted my head firmly inside of whatever gaping asshole was in front of me.
that's right. And he had to come in, being smuggled in a suitcase, so he paid his dues. People,
Yeah, I do
very
yoga.
difficult to fit in a suitcase.
Mhm.
Very weird. Very weird.
Yes.
Well, I hear he's not eating in jail. I don't know how long that'll last because he's afraid of getting poisoned. But I can't say I blame
Listen,
him.
I've been listening to, like, victim accounts, and it's mortifying hearing. I listened to this woman who was, at the time, 15 turning 16, and
Oh,
she was almost pretty much used as a sex toy or a prop, and, she said that there were a lot of kids taken from child protective services that were just considered runaways, and, like, the city didn't really care about them, and, like,
wow.
I guess they preyed upon kids that maybe didn't have a strong family background or a support system, and, offered them, money and the chance to hang out with their, you know, biggest celebrity. It's just so sad
Totally.
to me.
And celeb culture was I feel like at an all-time high back then. Like, obviously, there's still the people like Taylor Swift who have like that Beatlemania aura to them. But like back then, like, I feel like, like the tabloids were really popular. Reality TV shows became a thing with celebs on them. Like, it was all about celeb mania. And now, meanwhile, it's more like don't trust celebs too much. Is kind of like the common
Yeah.
theme.
My whole thing though with this investigation is everyone's talking about um uh all I I don't want to say anything bad about sex workers because part of me
Mhm.
is like, do what you want to. Like, I'm not one to judge.
Right.
But if there's people being like drugged and a sexual assault happening, and I'm like, okay, that's serious, that's bad. But what I haven't heard in the media is people talking about, um, uh, you know, kids being involved. And that to me is a
Mhm.
whole nother level of awful.
Mhm.
And
Totally.
that being said, like everyone's like, well, we don't want to let him out on bail because we don't know if he might um intimidate witnesses, whatever. I'm like, well, you shouldn't let him out on bail because he's not safe to be around children. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just don't know why people aren't talking about, or maybe it's just too intense. They don't want to talk. Maybe they just feel like they're sparing us the feelings,
I'm
but oh,
surprised that because yeah, I honestly didn't even know that underage people were involved. I figured it was just like, hookers, probably young ones. But I would think that at least he would go and get himself legal hookers. But fuck, I guess it is a freak off party, right? Like, what the fuck are they doing, dude? That
this
is
girl
so weird.
in this account, okay, guys, trigger warning. This girl said that there was a wheel they would put you on and like spin you around. And she
What
said
the
that
fuck?
she threw up and then they made her eat it back up because that's a fetish. And she's like, so stuffed with shit. She's like, we said yes to everything. But it's
Oh,
not just like missionary style sex happening, in candlelight. It's like raunchy, weird stuff.
what the
People probably
fuck?
peeing on
Ew.
each other.
Ugh,
So
I can
so
never
when
eat puke.
when we talked the other week about
Did he?
cleaning up the hotel rooms,
Oh
this
god,
adds a
yeah.
whole new level to me. I'm like, oh, they were probably like
Yeah.
mopping up
Yep.
pee pee and like,
We called it. We
ugh.
called it. That's why the Frat Chat podcast is the most reliable source of news and entertainment today. Write that down, people. Tell a friend. It's the thing.
We are about to see some celebrities go down. Buckle up your
Mhm.
seatbelts. This is gonna give the election competition.
I
No
know.
one's researching Trump and Kamala anymore. They're looking up P. Diddy every day for the latest news.
I wonder what. Can you imagine if one of them was on the tapes?
Oh my gosh.
But
Yikes.
I mean, the thing is, at this point, I believe the government has the tapes. So even if someone kills Diddy a la Epstein, the shit's gonna come out.
Yeah.
But But if I was him, I'd be very paranoid. I don't blame him for not eating. Mm-mm. But at one point, which is even worse, I don't think the state can just let you die. So at one point, they just hold you down and stick a tube down your throat and fucking feed you the basic liquids you need to live.
Yep.
So that's not good either. Or maybe he'll be into that. Maybe that's what he wants. So, all right, Diddy.
Yes, Simo.
I feel like I um there's a couple of things. I feel like there were some investigations with Diddy, especially when he was with J Lo about
Mhm.
something shooting related, right?
Right.
And everyone was like, "Team Diddy, Team Diddy." Now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I mean he's been such like a crook for so long. Crooks do crooked things. So, and then I'm also thinking about the Tupac and Biggie conflict. And I'm like, I wonder if Diddy had any involvement in that. Like, I don't trust Diddy anymore. Let's
They said he
rehash
did.
every issue.
They say he. This is just no. This is just
Speculation.
lore and rumors and whatever. But it is said that Diddy had something to do with the Tupac murders, but since he didn't pay up, the people who killed Tupac killed Biggie as a response. And
Oh,
I could see it. I could see it. Diddy's known as stiffing people here and there. It's been a thing. uh, so
how
there's
much
a
do you
lot of
think?
theories out there, though.
How much do you think J Lo knew about these freak off parties or his extracurricular activities?
I would like to think that she didn't to some degree because I can't see J Lo being cool with Diddy fucking like dudes while dating her. She's like a Latina woman at the end of the day. We don't play.
Yeah,
And they only dated for like 2 years, so I could see him being able to, guy sit under the. He's a busy executive, whatever, and then he's off on the side, licking some dudes, ass,
nom nom nom
human
nom
centipede
nom.
style.
Do you
It's covered in
think?
baby oil.
Do you think?
Definitely knew something about the shooting, like that night back in the day. I think the thing was that he gave her the gun or something, but she definitely helped cover up for him that. But
Yeah.
that's because, again, Latino woman don't play. She's gonna back her man. Fuck
Do
the
you,
popo.
do you think Ben Affleck walked away from the marriage because he didn't want to be involved with this
Ooh.
nonsense?
Nah, I think for honestly for him, it's more like being with JLo is a lot. Like there's a lot of cameras wherever she goes, and he looks like to be like a very private guy. He even says like the reason that I look like fucking miserable in all the pictures you guys catch me is because I see you guys fucking pop up out of the bushes, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. And that's the picture you post. It's like I'm not mad at her. I'm mad that you guys fucking pop out of the bushes to see us together, But meanwhile, I guess, but he's single. He doesn't get that much attention. He can put on a cap, but when walking with J Lo next to you, it's kind of hard to get away. So I think I don't I think the lifestyle fucked him up. To be honest, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
But who knows? That's the thing. Who knows? These celebs, the people who have been to these parties, even like the Leo DiCaprios have seen at their white parties and things, the Beavers, like all that. You have to wonder how much do they know?
Yeah.
At what point do you exit the party? Or do you fucking watch everything from the corner like what the fuck? But you come back if you see something like this. If you don't, like what do you do? So I don't know. We shall
So
see what comes out.
the video of him beating up his girlfriend, to me, there's so many more levels now because it wasn't just him drunk and belligerent, like acting like a quite frankly a caveman by dragging his female counterpart. But maybe if there was a threat that she was gonna go report this stuff or that she knew too much, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there
totally.
that throws a whole level of I mean, it must have been scary to get out of that relationship, you know?
And
I
he
believe that
clearly
he would
thought
have
he
torched a car to make a point.
totally, and I believe that he would pay someone to do it. Is the thing, you know? He would. It seems like he was like acting like he's like in the mob, you know. Essentially, like that's what he thinks his life is. But I don't know. It's weird. But anyways, let's call out the obvious, guys. Everyone wants to head into the bedroom with confidence, feeling like the best version of themselves. But the problem is that sometimes our thoughts get in the way of our performance down there. Or maybe we feel that we're just not reaching our full potential. And what are our options, really? Do we pick up a sketchy gas station pill or prescribed a drug with a huge list of side effects? Nuh-uh, because that's where good friends of Joy might come in, people. Oh, yeah. Now, imagine a supplement you can take like your favorite greens packet that gives you that extra dose of confidence and saves you the embarrassment and hassle of a traditional erection pill. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is an all natural and science backed solution to increase blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance down below. Oh, yeah. It comes in a palm sized packet just like this guy right here, like your favorite little electrolyte powder. All you gotta do is stir it into 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Now, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, but it also supports your blood vessels, cardiovascular health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and more. So even on days when you're not having sex, you can take the SPB to boost nitric oxide in your body, which not only supports your erection quality long term, but also increases blood flow circulation, keeping you in tip-top shape. Oh yeah. This allows for your cardiovascular system to pump blood more seamlessly and effectively to the areas of your body that need it, whether during workouts, sexual activity, or your regular daily exertion. When combined with a healthy diet, good sleep, and exercise, you will greatly improve your cardiovascular health. Now, the 30 pack comes in a perforated box, perfect for your supplement cabinet, pantry, or bathroom vanity. It's the perfect 1 month supply. Support your erections, athletic performance, heart health, and overall quality of life with Joy Mode, people. Whether you're on the move or traveling, our compact sachets are easy to pack and take with you. On the go, oh yeah. And get a Joy Mode boost anytime and anywhere. Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FRATCHAT. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FRATCHAT at tryjoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, people. Now, men across the nation have turned to Joy Mode with over 1 million packets taken to elevate their sexual performance. So don't get left behind. On
Anyway,
to
what else is
another.
new?
We got, well, I guess I should tell the listeners I got big news.
You got that mole removed?
That's right. My life is finally better. But no, I can tell you guys now because this will come out on Tuesday. So by then, friends and family will know. I finally popped the question, Mr. Mo.
And what question is that?
Will you do anal with me? She said yes.
She
Woo!
said yes.
I'm getting some of that lube from Diddy's evidence locker. Yeah. No, me and Julie are now officially getting married, people. I popped the question over this weekend. We were recording this on Saturday. Did it yesterday. We're very happy. It's gonna be awesome.
Congratulations, man. That's so cool. You know, I knew something happened because the moment she said yes, there was an audible sigh of relief from women across the world. And I was like, he must have asked Julie and she must have said yes.
That's right. He's off the market, ladies. Yeah. The parties have been going on all weekend. The bars are packed. All women too. It's wild. It's completely wild. And now I get it. Now that makes sense. Yeah, but she's happy. We're happy. It'll be good times. So I wanted to let you guys know across the 69 countries that listen to us. Oh, nice. Papa Carlos is gonna get married. But I was gonna like show my finger. But, like, there's nothing that we get on our end, So Just take my word for it. It's a nice ring.
I saw it. It's very nice.
You say a comedian salary can afford anything nice, and most of the time you're right. But we do things here and there, like attend dinner
Yeah.
parties to make money.
Cubic zirconia is really expensive.
That's right. Shh. Just kidding. I will say though, buying a ring is like a lot, man. It's like it's almost like buying a car. The first place you go to, they're gonna try to jip you, so you kind of gotta like have your poker face on. This is for the gents that haven't done this before. They'll and for those who have, give us a follow at Frat Chat Podcast. Let us know your experience with rings. But no, the first place tried to charge me a fucking arm and a leg. And I knew they were going to try to jip me because as soon as I walked in, they handed me mineral water bottles. I was like, "Are you thirsty, sir? Here's a mineral water." It's like, "Oh, okay." It's going to be this type of place, huh? Well, they give you, regular Deer Park, totally fine. But if they hand you Fiji, that shit is like $3.49 a bottle, people. You know what I mean? They mean business.
Yeah.
So I you kind of have to shop around until you find, what you're looking for. You start actually learning more too about what you're looking for as you shop around as well. So it really is a lot like buying a car, people. But I would say be patient and don't go for the first deal you get because it's probably a bad one.
Who'd you go with, or were you by yourself?
Myself, because I knew what Julie wanted, but I also didn't want her to find out. And so I kept it to as much of a secret as possible. And I would try to like go to the store in between, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to the gym." On my way to the gym, I go to the fucking store, and shop around, or I'm going to go pick up an iced tea from, the 7-Eleven. And I would go do that. But then in the meantime, I would also stop at a store. So it was easier just to go by myself, just to keep my alibi going. And, the less you tell people, the less of a secret broken, the possibility is.
No, I
But
gotcha. This whole time, you keep deleting your browser history. I thought you had a porn problem, but you're just looking at like David German.
it's a little bit of both. A little column
Yeah,
A, a little bit of column B. That's why I have to wipe my keyboard every night because shit gets sticky. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Spacebar. God damn it.
It could be the donuts.
That's right.
It could be the glazed donuts.
Little, but again, a little column A, a little column B.
I had this HR director that when she was let go, I had the pleasure of packing up her desk, and I took over her desk, and the keyboard was always
Oh,
sticky. But she was like,
yeah.
I mean, like a 300-pounder, like she was a big girl, and she always had snacks. So I was like, this checks. This checks. No
Ew.
wonder she couldn't respond to emails. Her keyboard, the keys didn't retract.
That means like, she'd be like eating her snackies and then she like lick her finger and then keep typing. And then all the
Ah,
goo
ew.
and the spit and the candy would seep into the fucking keyboard. And then
Ah,
you come in. Oh, that's my new computer.
yep.
Oh yeah, that sucks. It sucks when it's nice when you get in your office, but when you get someone else's shitty equipment, it's like ugh, the worst. That's why I don't miss office life.
Yeah.
But anyways, we got a little story for you. That actually for you guys that Mr. Mo himself told me about because I just could not believe that this was real. But let me get our trusty sound effects going. I don't know what's happening. There we go. Get it! So, of course, this had to come back to a Florida man who gave an awesome suggestion as to how to stop Hurricane Dorian. And shout out to Newsweek from the story. But he just said the Navy should just drop ice in warm water to stop this hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So here we have we have the clip here. We can play him.
Can't see how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, oh, it's at this, but it's going to hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come and drop ice in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as it's going? There's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, it's now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse, but you tell us, oh, it's the warm weather. Oh, it's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Drive some Air Force planes around to get the winds going the opposite way. Get the Navy to go in circles to fight it the other way.
It's the warm weather. What do you mean? It's the warm weather. You got to put water in the warm weather. You got a Navy. I like how he looked directly into the camera for that one when he was doing
What
something.
a weirdo. That's not how science works, dude.
You gotta take the warm weather. What are you doing, guys? It's the warm weather.
Yikes.
And he's wearing a big Hawaiian shirt too. This man is a whole vibe. Oh God, this is the craziest shit.
Now, I'm
That's who
not
he was.
I'm not a scientist or a meteorologist, but I did hear something before the summer started that said that because there's like no El Nino or something, that
Mhm.
that the effect of that is normally like um increased or more hyperactive hurricanes in both the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Well, that's
So
what
I
happens when you get my people pissed off and we leave the job. Shit
um
suffers. You need El Nino, motherfucker.
okay, so by you people, are you referring to Venezuelans, struggling comedians, are you referring to healthy individuals that love a good Sunday McDonald's Big Mac? Are you referring to um people that are forced to eat spaghetti and popcorn for the rest of their life because they spent too much on an engagement ring? What demographic are you referring to?
I'm gonna go with a little of all those columns, which makes it a very specific person then,
Okay,
which is just me. Which is just me, really.
it's
So
just me. It's just me.
it's just me. Again, Diddy, if you get out and you need some help in those parties, give me a call. A ring was expensive. But you just reminded me, I do miss a good Big Mac Sunday. I haven't had it in a while. Nothing against McDonald's, it just, felt like maybe I shouldn't be doing that every Sunday because I did it for like it was something like 63 weeks in a row, which is a lot. Which is really much a lot. But God, it was so good.
When you stopped going every Sunday, I sold all my stocks in McDonald's. It's like,
Yeah, that's why it plummeted.
this is bad news. I gotta get
They
ahead of the
hadn't
curve.
even during that time they even released like the giant Big Mac and the double Big Mac and shit, and I was fucking I was in heaven. I feel like that's when they took those away. I felt like I was kind of betrayed a little bit, and that's when I was like, I've done it all here. I've conquered this mountain.
Yeah.
But I do miss it. Maybe tomorrow I'll get myself a Big Mac. But anyways, yeah, shout out to that guy. It's the warm weather. I think
Warm weather.
I want to grow up to be that guy. That's just me. Julie, that's what you have to look forward to.
Yep.
Just give me
For the
10
rest
years.
of your life.
It's the warm weather. In a 13-hour road trip. Oh man. But anyways,
I think I can speak for most men when I say we want to have better sex. And for the sake of our partner, we may need to have better sex, fellas. Because no one likes it when you bring a wet noodle to a barbecue party. Write that down. The issue is that over-the-counter erection pills contain unregulated chemicals, suggest unsafe doses, and include the risk of several other health problems. And who wants that? It's like those drug prescription ads where everybody's like sitting there playing volleyball at the beach, but they're dying of herpes. Not cool. That's why we partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. Whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode makes all natural and science-backed supplements dedicated to helping men perform better across their core functions. Oh, yeah. The trademark product, this sexual performance booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow down below, firmness, stamina, and performance of your favorite friend. It's like a pre-workout, but for your buddy down below. And let me tell you, it works. And the best part, the product is totally safe. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. It comes in a palm-sized little packet, like your favorite electrolyte powder. Just simply mix one of these bad boys right in with 6 to 8 ounces of water, 45 minutes before sexual activity, and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Like, you know when you start blowing up an inflatable castle? It's sort of like that, but down below.
Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymoy.com for 20% off with promo code FRATCHAT. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FRATCHAT at tryjoymode.com.
Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, baby.
Mr. Mao, now that we haven't gotten through the news, we talked about the diddler, it's time to roast each other for 60 seconds, and we've been sneaking in the jabs in through the side. Hopefully you're not out of
I'm out of steam. Someone plug me in. I need some juice.
That's right. Okay, and I'm gonna get my trusty timer up. Here, I'm gonna test this to make sure you can hear it. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna do this in 3, 2. Oh my god, dude! Did anybody ever tell you you remind me of the main guy in
Andy Dick.
NSYNC? No,
Oh.
the main guy in NSYNC.
Justin Timberlake.
No. Joy Fatone. Just like him. It's crazy.
Joy
It's crazy.
Fatone.
Yeah, that's right. The main guy in NSYNC.
Cat?
No. I'm calling you Fatone. It's different.
Well, your girlfriend's calling me. I mean, your fiance is calling me, and she's telling me to tell you to not walk on the floor barefoot. There's broken glass. Her diamond just shattered.
Oh, you can tell her that I had to cancel my phone service because I can't afford it anymore after the ring.
Is that why you've been cutting your own hair lately?
That's right.
I get it.
You can tell, right? You can tell. It's really.
I can't tell.
No.
I can't tell.
They say follow your heart, but Seymour just follows his nose, and it's always right. And that was comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds. Yep, you were definitely not out of them. But now we have made it here to the main segment of the story, and I'm delaying because I'm trying to find the right cool music here. but I did because I am a pro. But anyways, this week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the good old days of TV, the good old people of TV, the people that sometimes we wish were our papas, and not just because they were great, but because they were funny. Because we're going to talk about our top 10 funniest TV dads right here at the Frat Chat Podcast. Oh, this episode is going to make me feel so good. And now we have these 10 people who, for different reasons, we thought were just the greatest, the funniest, the most entertaining. And it's got a list of all hitters. If you haven't heard of these characters, boy, you missed out. So make sure you go back and watch these TV shows if you've never heard of them, because this shit is good. Oh yeah. Now, Mr. Mo, it's time to rock funniest TV.
Well,
dads.
I just want to start by saying Um, I did not include Danny Tanner from Full House, and I know that whenever I think TV dad, I think Bob
I don't think he's
Saget,
that funny
just
though.
to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that his role was funny. And quite frankly, when he was the host of America's Funniest Videos, I can't think of a more unfunny person. I think he was so just horrible at his jokes had zero punchline ever. But as a stand-up comedian, he was brilliant. I thought Bob Saget was so
Oh,
funny.
totally. But to be fair, he got paid a ton of money to be unfunny in America's Funniest Home Video, and he himself will admit it and say those jokes were awful. But they gave me a lot of money to do it. And that's what they wanted. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll take
I
$10
guess he
million
wanted
and
his
then
I think they wanted his Danny Tanner character to carry over into the hosting gig. Because to me, it
yeah,
was
pretty
the
much did.
same
That's exactly
persona.
what they did. Exactly. That's who they wanted in the role,
America
not Bob
wants
Saget.
America's favorite dad to host America's Funniest
Mhm.
Videos. Okay,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
I'll start this list off with a good one. And rest in peace, Jerry Stiller.
Mm.
I know that he played Leah Remini's mom and I'm sorry, dad in King of Queens. And that he was
Your
really good at that
mom?
too. But
What?
uh, I'm focused
I'm your
more
mother.
specifically on
I'm
the
your.
Frank
Don't you talk to me like that.
Frank Costanza character.
Yes. Yes.
But
He's
when he
so good
played
in that,
George
dude.
Costanza's dad, oh my gosh, the banter between him and his wife were brilliant, but just his explosiveness. Jerry Stiller was just a brilliant comedic actor.
He is fantastic. And also, I mean, he's a guy that worked for years and years and years, but he was also great in Zoolander. But like you said, his explosiveness in Seinfeld is really what made him because you just didn't know when he was just going to go off the rails. And then his wife was perfect because her voice was like this and
Yeah,
whiny. How could you? Don't talk to me like that, woman. You know, it's such a good back and forth. That casting was excellent. And it really added an extra layer of funny that you just wouldn't think. You know, the show was about Jerry and his friends, and all of a sudden you have the parents who are even funnier. He is a fucking king among men, dude. Yeah, rest in
yeah.
peace, indeed, Jerry
I'm
Stiller,
looking
and
at it
obviously,
says he was in
go
Zoolander,
on.
Heavyweights, Hot Pursuit, The Heartbreak Kid, Zoolander
Heavyweight.
2,
Oh yes,
voiceover work for The Lion King, One and a Half, Planes, Fire and Rescue.
he's
Anyway,
good in
what a
Heartbreak Kid,
great
which he
guy.
does with his son with Ben Stiller. But obviously, he has talented genes because then his son ended up being great. And it's funny because his son is more, even though he does characters too, and he's very good at them, like Zoolander and the heavyweights guy and whatnot. He's usually like more of the straight man in his comedies. He's he like reacts at ridiculous things, and he's very good at accentuating wackier characters. Meanwhile, his dad plays that wacky character all the time. Like I don't think I've
Yeah,
ever seen his dad be like the straight person to anything. He's that outlandish personality all the time. So it's just funny how there's that contrast in the acting styles. But again, Ben can do wacky characters too, but he's primarily like straight like what? No, no, what do you mean? Type of
yeah.
character like going on. So like Meet the Parents, for example. Totally like that. Or Heartbreak Kid too. He's dating the psychopath, which don't we all know that? But anyways, yeah, Frank Costanza was such a good fucking character. God. Me and Julie actually just finished. She had never seen Seinfeld, so I
Oh,
put her
really?
through. Yep, I showed her a couple episodes and she loved it. And then we watched the whole thing, and we recently
All
finished it.
seasons?
All the seasons.
Oh, wow. Do you
And
kind
I
of
had never
feel
really
like
seen it in order. I had always kind of seen it bounced around, but so it was good to actually catch it all. But it was good. It holds up really well.
didn't you always kind of think that Jerry Seinfeld and Elaine should have ended up together?
Yeah. Well, at least they ended up in prison together,
Well, he
so
like
maybe they.
alluded to it in last episode. I think she was going to tell him something, and chickened out. But yeah, whatever. What can you do?
Maybe they still do. Maybe there's a chance. We never know what happened to the characters after they're supposed to go away for a year, I believe.
Yeah,
So who knows what happened? It would have been good to actually like revisit the show, even just for a special episode to see like what happened after they got out. I imagine Jerry goes back to comedy because that's easy. But
yeah.
like George would probably have to move back in with his parents, which would be hilarious. I feel like Kramer would figure something out. Somehow he would land with like a rich woman who thinks he's hilarious or something, and he mooches his way to the top. Elaine, maybe she ends up with Jerry, or maybe she goes back to that guy that she dates. I forget the actor's name, but he's the one that talks like he's like squinty eyed. It's like,
Hmm.
hey, that guy. But they break up every 15 minutes. Um, and yeah, I think that covers it. But I don't know. It would have been funny to revisit though. But anyways, on to the next one. Julie and I have actually been watching this show as well, and still holds up really well. I love this TV dad. I feel like if I was to be a dad, I would kind of be like this guy because he's a good dad, but he also just like shits on his kids whenever they do something stupid, and he's very funny about it. He just makes fun of them and stuff. And it's the characters Michael Kyle and My Wife and Kids, played by Damon Wayans, who, you know, those Wayans, there's not a single non-talented bone in those bodies. Like they're
I
all
love
so
the
fucking funny.
Wayans.
They're all hilarious. Like I don't
They're like
understand.
America's like comedic family.
Absolutely. And like I would love to see like what like that family reunion is like, the family dinners. Like I feel like they're all just funny. Like Grandma Wayans is out there, maybe it's like the Nutty Professor family. You know what I mean? When they're all hilarious. But I could just see that. They're all so goddamn talented and funny, and they can do characters or they can just be themselves and be funny. But his role is really good. Like I said, he just rips on his kids so much, and he's like very sarcastic. But at the end of the day, he's a good dad, which is what you really want from a good TV dad as well. Like they love their kids, but they're wacky about it. You know what I mean? Like Frank Costanza loves George, even though George is a fucking fuck up. You know what I mean? But he still loves them. And Frank Costanza is insane as well. They're all just very wacky. Same thing here. Michael Kyle loves his kids, but knows that his kids are people, and sometimes they do dumbass things. So he's very good at that, and he's also good, or at least the character is, about relating himself because the show establishes that I guess he was a younger father. So him and the wife on the show are good about being like, you remember what we were like when we were them, so they
Yeah.
use that to teach him a lesson. Like there's an episode, for example, where they find out their son is smoking weed. So rather than like confront him about it, they just decide to make him super paranoid because they smoke weed. They know what the fuck it can happen, So then they just started fucking with him about, if you smoke weed, this and this can happen to you. And the son is like, "What, really?" And just like got really fucking crazy about it. And they just eventually they just bust out laughing in his face. Like I feel like that's what I would do. So
What's her character's name is Jay, right? Like Janet or Jay, I think.
the
Um,
wife,
yeah, and wife and kids. Her real name is
uh,
Tisha Campbell.
yeah, Jay.
I think that uh, in order to have a very successful dad persona, you have to have a really good counterpart to play off of. And I
Yeah,
think that part of his success is the fact that he's also um, um, exchanging lines with a brilliant actress, you know?
yeah, she's really good, and their chemistry together is really good. Because she's good at acting like she's mad at him, and then he'll like crack a joke, and you can see that it kind of makes her laugh a little bit, and she'll do a little smirk. But that's how it is with relationships too. Like it's like she's
Yeah.
like trying to be mad at you, or he's trying to, and then you say something funny, And then it's like, fuck, don't make me laugh right now. You know what I mean? I'm fighting. And she's good at kind of being that sweet but stern wife sometimes. And sometimes she's just as crazy as he is. You know, as much as she tries to be the voice of reason, her character will slip up too and be just as wacky as she is, which shows why they're together, and they're great together. Yeah, the chemistry in that show is amazing. The casting is really good too. The son is one like fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
George Ogore the second. He
He
plays
plays dumb
Michael
really
Richards.
well.
Yes, he's so fucking funny at it, and so I feel like, yeah, like you said, he plays dumb fantastically. So the casting overall is excellent, legendary on that show, and it really does. It's another one that all these shows really hold up well. But if you haven't seen My Wife and Kids, it's on Netflix now. Give it a check because it's fucking good.
Is it me or does buying a sex pill at a gas station feel super awkward? You know, you're like walking around and you don't know what to get. The guy's definitely looking at you, judging you with every step. It's super weird. Plus, then we're going to talk efficacy. Does it really work? Because my buddy once bought a condom from a gas station, and now he has 3 kids, so you tell me. So it's good to know that Joymoid is not only backed by its users, it's backed by science, people, which goes to show that science can be sexy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world, and he still wanted to run faster. So why not be an Olympic gold medalist in the bedroom, fellas? Because that's where Joy Mode comes in. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. And it contains clinically supported doses of ingredients like arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C, which is going to make your boy down below stronger than ever. Oh, yeah. Plus, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, it also supports blood vessel support, cardiovascular and heart health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and general erection function. Plus, here are the game changers. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals, and all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans, so you know it works. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. And psst, it's small enough to fit in your wallet and take it with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion, and it's a powder, so you don't need to worry about it getting crushed in there. So all you gotta do, fellas, is just go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FRATCHAT. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FRATCHAT at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, what you got next?
I have Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
Yes.
I thought when he would get so angry and just seeing him go to these extremes, I always thought was really funny. And also it's hard to make a cop likable, but he was such a likable guy. His rapport with Steve Urkel throughout the years was hilarious.
Yes.
Now, this was played by an actor named Reginald Bell Johnson, who is kind of known for playing cop roles. Um, but whenever someone passes away, having never had a public relationship with a woman and having no kids, I always wondered maybe he was gay. But it was a different time then. It was like career suicide if you were out of the closet. Because can you play family dad this day and age? Maybe this day and age, but not decades before, you know?
Yeah. And I just Googled it. It seems like he was, but he never really came out. But it's been like rumored that he was, like you're saying, but never confirmed. No, and he's not around anymore, so we don't know. But wait, no, he's not dead, right? He's alive.
He's alive.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, it's Uncle Phil who's dead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I guess he never came out, but you're right. You're right. However, you alluded to something that's what made me love him so much was his relationship with Steve
Yeah.
Urkel is so funny. I was actually just watching an episode the other day on TV where Urkel decides to confront like a school bully that everyone was afraid of because of whatchamacallit, Carl,
Uh-huh.
and they have a boxing match, and Carl acts as like Steve's boxing coach with hilarious consequences, and it's their fucking back and forth and their comedic language, like the way, for example, at the end of the fight, basically it ends like all the kids in the audience get inspired by Steve Urkel confronting the bully and shit. So they all then decide to stand up to the bully, and the bully runs away. But at that point, Steve Urkel is taking a fucking ass whooping, and he just keeps getting up. And he's all like against the ropes, like leaning there. And then in comes Carl and like basically picks him up like a puppet. And Urkel comes like, what? And just their back and forth and the body language and the movement was very like vaudeville from the 30s and just so fucking funny. And it's timeless. It's timeless. So he was great because he could be funny, but when it came time for like serious moments in the show, he was really good. Like when the
Oh, yeah.
cops fucking discriminate against his son and he doesn't believe it because he's a cop, and then he finds out that they really did, and that he's fucking so mad, and he has to teach his son an awful lesson that skin color matters, unfortunately, and it's a tough episode. But then the way he like threatens those cops, it's like, if you fuck with my son again, or I catch you fucking with any other kid, I swear to God, I'm gonna make sure that you're fucking working traffic stops for the rest of your goddamn life. You understand me, motherfuckers? And they're like, yes, sir, yes, sir. He was so goddamn good.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, cuz, you good
they
boy.
dealt with some pretty heavy topics, and, I think that if I were to compare Carl Winslow to, like, Danny Tanner, from Full House, every episode there's gonna be, like, a moving moment or,
Mhm.
like a lesson of some sort, and everyone's gonna hug it out, and, like, that was just the format of every episode, and when I look back on old episodes of Full House, I'm like, "Oh my god, gag me. This is so, like, kumbaya." Um,
Yeah.
but but just to see how, organic the interactions were in, um, Family Matters, and just to see how realistic, and he was just such a loving dad and so wholesome and just wanted his kids to do well, and he did
Totally.
anything he could for his mom. That was his mom, right? His
Yep,
mom,
yep, yep.
or, Estelle, I think,
Mhm.
and, his wife. He was just lovable, funny, good work ethic. He's just a
And
great
he was
stand-up guy.
sarcastic too, though, which Bob Saget doesn't have. Like sometimes Steve would say something, and he just like, rolls his eyes and makes a face at him. Bob Saget didn't have like, even though Carl was a straight and narrow type character, he has that little bit of a funny edge to him that Bob Saget just doesn't have in
Yeah.
the Danny Tanner role. Danny Tanner is very cut and dry. He's the good dad. The uncles are the wacky ones that add the humor to it. Uncle Jesse, the good looking rock god guy, Joey, the funny voice guy. They're the wacky uncles. He's like the straight guy all throughout.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Carl is actually funny. So, and before Steve came, no Urkel comes season 2, I believe. There's a whole season of no Urkel where Carl kind of is leaned on to be funny. So,
Yeah.
his character has to be funny for the purpose of the show. But anyways, yeah, we love me some Carl Winslow. Uh, this next one I love because even though he loved his son and his family, he was like your realistic, hard ass, old school dad that you don't really see that often, but we're out there. And man, those insults have come out of the voice of this man. And actually, they're back now, so there's you can still hear them on Netflix. Are just fantastic. And I'm talking about Red Foreman from that '70s show and now that '90s show, played by Kurtwood Smith. And no, I do think that Red was funnier as the dad rather than the grandpa, because now they do the grandpa thing very well, where he's kind of a sweetheart to his granddaughter at the end of the day, even though he's still an old hard ass. But to Eric, he is just so goddamn funny, and their dynamic is really funny. But at the end of the day, he's just a very no nonsense kind of guy, and the actor was very good at putting that out there. Where sometimes he would just drop the charade and just, God damn it, Eric, like you just got to do this, this, and that. You got to be fucking better, you idiot. Like you get it, like, and he's just the older I get, the more I identify with Red Foreman because he doesn't fucking want to be bothered. He just wants to do like his business, his job, whatever, and then go home to his goddamn house and watch TV and just be
So
left alone.
the way you talk to Stella is the way that Red Foreman talks to his daughter.
That's right.
Because his daughter can do no wrong. She's an angel. He'll baby her forever. And then
That's right.
he's always
Eric,
telling his son, poor Topher Grace is always getting threats of a foot up his ass every day,
God
every
damn it,
episode.
Eric, you dumbass. And then the daughter is like, Dad, can I borrow $50? Like, sure, Angel. Here you go. Yeah, absolutely. That's spot on. Uh, it's funny, and I know for a fact if I had like a daughter and a son, it would probably be that way too. Like I feel like a little girl uh, would totally be like my boss. So I hope I get two boys so I can treat them both like dumbasses. No, but I think a girl dad, I would be a fucking total sucker for that little girl. So I could potentially create a monster. But Kurtwood Smith, man, he was and he's a fantastic actor. He's done a bunch of other shit. But Red Foreman is such a creme de la creme character. I love, and because he had a side that reminded me in a weird way of my dad, because my dad was a very funny guy, and so I loved him for that. But when my dad got mad, man, it was fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? And he would just you feel like he was like 6'9" and 300 pounds, and he was a big guy, but uh it was good to see that dad that for a fact probably whooped Eric's ass here and there with his belt. And it's like
Yeah.
it's more realistic to me watching Red Foreman call his son a dumbass than it was watching again Bob Saget be like, everything's gonna be okay. Because I know when I broke a window, nothing was okay. I got my ass whooped. you know? So I loved Red Foreman for that. But anyways, what you got next?
Well, next, we've already alluded to him, but it's worth mentioning Uncle Phil or Philip Banks from
Yes.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, played
Yeah, buddy.
by the late and great James Avery, R.I.P.
Mhm.
But what an awesome character! And so he was a judge by day, and at night just a family man. And in almost every episode at the beginning, there was a moment where he threw Jazz out of the building. He literally took Will Smith's best friend, turn him on its side, and just toss him out the house. Yeah,
He was so good because again, he's one that had that sternness to him, and he was doing it for the good of like Will, for example. But he knew when Will was being a fucking dumbass, and he was very good at having back and forths with him, where he's like rolling his eyes or being like, "No, Will, like what the fuck are you talking about?" And in a way that was just totally his. So it just made him so good. But also, he was another one that you didn't want to see people fuck with him, but he turned out to be good at everything. Like when Will goes and gets hustled at the pool bar, and then he shows up, and you think he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm a big fucking guy or a big judge," and no, he ends up challenging the guy himself, and he hustles the hustler out of all this money. And then at the end of he's like smoking a cigar, with his like suit over his fucking shoulders like a pimp.
yeah.
Counting his money in the end. And Will think he's gonna get his money back, and he's like, "Nope, it's my money, bitch."
I think that
I love him.
this is a great example of how you don't necessarily have to be a biological father to be a father figure to someone. And
Mhm.
Carl Winslow's example, I think that was also a great testament of someone being a mentor for someone else. Because I would
Totally.
venture to say that Carl Winslow was very much a father figure to Steve Urkel. But I think that that one episode where Will Smith actually runs into his real father
Oh
and
yeah.
seeing that's such a brilliant episode, and we've talked about before. So well
You
acted,
don't want
but
me. Ah.
yeah, seeing Phil Banks step up at the end and fulfill and I guess you know, step into the roles of dad once again. It was very touching, and that's a lot of families out there. A lot of families have father figures who aren't necessarily dad, but
Totally.
they do a good job.
Totally. Yeah, he's fantastic. Again, if you've not seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you missed out in life. And no, there's
I
the
think
new Fresh Prince, but I haven't seen the new one.
I haven't seen the
I'm
new one
still
either,
watching the class.
but the new one I think is more of a drama and less of
Yeah,
a comedy. But
yeah,
I think that uh it shows how strong of a cast to replace the mother and not skip a beat.
totally,
And that
totally.
goes for
Especially
both
because Out Vivian was
Carl
a big.
Winslow and Philip Banks too, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's true, and it's crazy because Aunt Viv, she was already such an iconic character when they replaced her, and it's the type of thing where they could totally derail the show. But yep, like you said, that cast was so fucking funny and good together that they just moved on like nothing ever happened.
I hate to
But
say it, but I like the first one the most.
yeah, me too. And it's just, for me, the second one, there's nothing wrong with her. Maybe if I would have seen her
Oh,
first, it's just the first one was the Aunt Viv I know. She's the one I was familiar with,
the
and she
first
had
Aunt Viv
more.
had more fire.
Totally, she was more of a character herself,
Yeah,
and
and she was in a phenomenal dance. Remember that episode where she went to that dance class
yep,
or
yep, yep.
tryouts or
I was just
something?
thinking about that. And the
And she
thing
was a
is,
singer. Such a talent.
well, the thing is also they made the kids. I think this is just a casting choice that they made the kids the shades of black according to the first Aunt Viv too, because notice like some are lighter like Phil, but some are darker like her, and so I feel like they casted them to kind of look like both of their kids. But then the second Aunt Viv was much lighter, so then you start looking at their shades, and it's kind of like looking at the kids, and it doesn't fit as much as the original one, which I think that obviously the whole family was cast to look like their kids. So I felt like you don't want to cast someone that looks like her, obviously, but because you can't really replace that, which is what they did. Is they just found a whole total new person. But that felt like the second Viv just didn't fit as much with the family as the first one.
I never noticed that. That never really bothered me. I just felt like the second Aunt Viv um didn't have the umph that the first Aunt Viv had. I feel
It's
like the
totally true.
but it's,
They're
but it's
definitely
also
more of a
unfair
side
because
character.
it's big shoes to fill. It's a big job.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're like for example, right now, Thor's brother, the Hemsworth kid, that Liam
Yeah,
is now.
Liam Hemsworth.
He's going to take over the Witcher role on
Right.
Netflix from Henry Cavill, who's been fucking legendary good in that role.
Yeah.
And obviously Liam hasn't even done a single episode. It hasn't aired yet, and people are already shitting on him because it's like, how do you replace the guy that made the role so good? And Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth. That's no offense to Liam Hemsworth. He's a very good looking guy. He's a pretty good actor and all, but from going to Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth, it's a downgrade. Now, Henry Cavill to Chris Hemsworth, that's at least a lateral movement that I think everybody would have gotten down behind, but I don't know. It's going to be tough to replace him and just straight up take
Yeah.
his character. So I feel like it's the same exact thing here with Aunt Viv. It's just you have someone who's established in this role. She's fantastic at it. She's very funny, and then you go on and replace her. It's gonna divide some camps, but at least the show was able to hang on because it still had some good entertainment left in it.
It says
But
here
anyhow,
that
mhm.
the show sticks to the same like filming schedule as before. Then The Witcher season 4 should be out sometime in the summer of 2025.
Oh wow, god damn it, so far away.
You know.
Especially because he got announced like fucking last year, 2 years ago. Anyways, you might lose me as a viewer if you take that long, Witcher, but I do
I
love the show.
know. It's like whatever happened to Stranger Things? Hello. Aren't the
I
kids
know
getting
that's
too old at this
fucking.
point to like play like
This
middle
kid's
school
gonna be
kids?
48. Will is just gonna have a faker, bigger bowl cut. That's so they keep him young. Just a big bowl cut.
What
Mom.
are the odds that Will, as an actor, came out of the closet after playing a queer character? Um, because I feel like I would bet money that as he's looking at the script for the last season, seeing that there was a queer storyline, I bet you as a young kid who's not out was probably shaking his bones like, "Oh, fuck. Do they know? Oh, fuck. Why would they give me this role? Should
You
I
were
say
leaving me,
something?"
kid.
Like, that's gotta be tough. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe he
Yeah,
came out to the producers and was like,
I want
"I
to be
think I might be
gay.
a homo." And then they're like, "You know what? We're gonna work in this script, kid. Don't you worry." Maybe
That's a
there's
good idea, kid. Hollywood loves
That's a
gays.
great idea.
This show will go right to the
Hollywood.
top.
That's a ticket.
You know what this show needs? More gays. You're a genius, kid. Tussled his bull hut.
It's
You're
like that
hurting
girl
me,
at the
mister. No,
mall, or
I'm
like the
not.
it wasn't like the video girl shouldn't have been a lesbian, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then they're probably like,
Exactly.
okay, like the ratings went through the roof when we introduced a queer character. We gotta add play up the queer. More gay.
That's right. You know, I got a groundbreaking idea, boss. We already got one gay character. How about two gay characters? Wow! Johnson, promote that man.
Yeah.
Make him vice president of entertainment. But sir, I'm vice president of entertainment. Not anymore, Johnson. That's right. Suck it, Johnson. Yeah, definitely. That definitely. I can just see that as some Hollywood pitch meeting. We need more gays. That's what we need. But anyways, on to the next one. Now we're gonna take you guys into the cartoon world, because this TV dad just gets funnier and funnier every year, to the point where now they're making entire special episodes featuring him, that are like 90 minutes long. So they're making mini
Is it
movies with
Fred
him.
from Scooby Doo? He's such a
Yes,
daddy.
totally TV dad.
What a
That's what I
total
was
dad. Yes,
saying.
yes,
What is
yes.
that? I'm talking about Randy Marsh from South Park, voiced by show creator, co-creator Trey Parker. And Randy, the funny thing about him is that he started out as more of a serious character who just was very much of a side character. And I
Is
feel
this
like
Stan's
as
dad?
Stan's dad, yeah.
Okay.
And as I feel like as the creators of the show started to age a little bit and they started being a little more mature and older, they started relating more with the older characters than the kids. So obviously the show's about the kids, but they started featuring the older characters as wackier people. So as the show goes on, it's kind of like Homer Simpson. Even though Homer Simpson starts out being like silly and wacky and kind of dumb, he gets dumber as the seasons go and funnier as the seasons go. And the show becomes less about Bart and more about Homer and the whole family as a whole. Um, it's kind of the same thing here. Randy Marsh starts out just being like a regular, like, scientist of some kind. He's like a regular dad. He drinks beer, doesn't matter. And now he's fucking hilarious. He has like his own weed line. He has an episode where he gets massive balls. He's been Lord. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He has been just a cultural icon by this point, just out of the dumb things that he's done. And
He
it
was even
cracks me
gay
up
for an
so much.
episode
He was gay for an episode. That's
with his
right.
little jerk off buddies.
He has done
Done
the
everything.
what's the injection thing that people are using to lose weight? The drug.
Ozempic.
Yep. They just did an Ozempic special with him, so he's done Ozempic. It's fucking fantastic. He's so goddamn good, dude. And it's just it's worth now watching the show. Like, I obviously still love Cartman and the guys, but sometimes now I just watch a lot of this stuff because I see what Randy's up to, and he's so goddamn funny that it just, his little schemes are worth watching. Kind of very Homer Simpson like in his development for sure. I fucking love Randy Marsh.
All right. Well, next up on my list is more power. Tim the Toolman Taylor.
So good. Anybody
Now,
that loves that show knows that noise.
I haven't looked it up. Now we've talked about Tim Allen before because Tim Allen was a coke dealer, got busted and ratted out some people and
Yep.
turned his life around. But he got his claim to fame in the headlines as a certified snitch. Um,
Yep.
that's
It's a wrap.
that's that he was a rat, you know. So then he does stand up comedy. He lands his amazing gig. He has a great show. And just out of curiosity, I know Pamela Anderson was in the first couple seasons. Did this
Mm-hmm.
show catapult her career? Was this before Baywatch?
This was before Baywatch, and then she got the Baywatch offer, and then dipped. But Baywatch paid her a lot of more money, and she was obviously a featured role, like a prominent role, as opposed to like the little side girl. But yeah, this was before Baywatch.
So I don't think people realize that she got her start here. This show was
Yep.
incredible. But Tim the Toolman Taylor, Tim Taylor, his that character, great family man, had I liked the dynamic between him and his wife. His kids were all different. They dealt with some really heavy topics. Like I remember Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was a huge heartthrob when I was younger. JTT.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas had a cancer scare one episode. I know that
Oh, shit, I
the
forgot about that.
youngest sibling, the youngest son, um, ended up being kind of like a gothic type of.
Yes, yes,
I
he
I
turned
think he
goth.
I think he was in real life, and they just carried it over into the sitcom. But I liked the way that it was dealt with, and um, I liked I liked that everything went wrong with anything that Tim Taylor, the character, Tim Taylor touched. Anything he tried to fix was always a mess. Um, but uh, he was so lovable and so funny. Great physical
Totally.
actor.
And the thing with him, he really played up the kind of the stereotypical man in the sense of like he had the man ego. He's the guy that wouldn't ask for directions that his wife would complain about, even though he's been driving lost for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'll figure it out. But then he'd always fuck it up somehow. And so he was very good at acting like he knew what he was doing until all of a sudden some shit would go wrong and he would make this face that would very quickly be like, oh, like it was just a like I don't know how that happened type face. So he, as an actor, he was very good at those kind of switches. And he's like, "Don't tell me what to do, woman." And then she turns out to be right. But then he's kind of looking at the wife, and I'm like, "Yeah, sorry."
You know,
uh,
I think a good testament to know that this is a very popular, funny TV dad. A good testament is the um side hustles, the side projects, the movie offers, you know what I mean? This is why he's higher on my list
Absolutely.
because the other TV dads were just TV dads, but this guy wasn't just a TV dad, but his success as a TV dad catapulted his career to lead in a lot of movies.
Totally.
Voiceover
And
work, like
he
in
ended
Toy
up
Story.
coming back to do that show Last Man Standing, which I think is still putting out seasons or about to be done. He obviously the Santa Claus movies,
Yeah.
which ended up coming back as a show, were a huge deal. It's a whole it's a whole thing, and he pretty much sticks to that same type of character that made him famous. It's very much Tim the Toolman Taylor, which I mean, again, it's based on him and his stand-up comedy. He's just a little different in the sense that he does construction and shit. Uh, but I have to say he's so fucking funny. Like, and you
Mhm.
watch how he, like raises the kids and the boys, and he's like teaching them to also be like him, like, and like that reminds me of me with my dad as well. Like I wanted to be so much like my dad, and I would like, if we would have these like inside jokes and sounds. So he was very good at having that relationship with the kids, but also just being a dope when it came to be in a total funny way. So
Yeah.
that's a great choice. Tim the Toolman Taylor. And now another one who now this guy uh he also had the man ego in a totally different way, but he was not afraid to admit his life was in the total dumps. This guy is, if you haven't seen this show again, you've missed out because this to this day holds up as you're more of a stereotypical miserable man who's been married for forever and just fucking all around life didn't turn out the way he necessarily wanted it to. And it's Al Bundy in Married with Children, played masterfully by Ed O'Neill, who then we later saw as a TV dad slash grandpa in Modern Family. And you've seen on Wayne's World as well, and all kinds of other shit. He's the man is a fucking legend. But Al Bundy was the role that made him a household name.
Hmm.
And he was, the guy that peaked in high school. He was the football, I believe, a quarterback in high school, and he was fucking amazing. His wife was the babe in high school that, he got pregnant, so he didn't get to go to college. He didn't get to live the life that his friends did. He ends up working in a strip mall, as a shoe salesman, and his clientele is usually older, bigger, complainy Karens of a woman. So obviously he hates his fucking life. His coworkers are all single younger guys who like tend to go until the later episodes where he gets a funnier coworker. But at first he gets this young single guy who's always banging hot, beautiful women. Meanwhile, he goes home to his life that he hates. His kids are fucking total train wrecks. And he has a hot daughter too, just like his wife. So now he has to fucking worry about her dating life too. So
Man, Christina
he
Applegate, her career went like above and beyond what anyone would have ever thought based off this show.
totally Kelly Bundy, dude. She was. I mean, if you were a '90s guy, you like Kelly Bundy. She was so fucking hot and cool, and just like totally a '90s crush of mine for sure.
Oh my
And if you watch
gosh.
her back,
Yeah.
I mean, the show really holds up. Yeah, it reminds you why. And she gets hotter as the show goes along as she grows up. But I remember her as a kid. She was older than me, anyways, and I was just like, my God, she's beautiful. But Al Bundy, man, he's one that, again, as the episodes go on and he gets a full grasp of the character and the writers start taking more chances and stuff, he gets funnier and funnier, and he manages to be a total asshole, but you also root for him and you get why he's an asshole. You know what I mean? Like it totally makes sense why he's an asshole, but
Yeah.
you also root for him and you want him to win. And at the end of the day, that was find a way to keep him in his status quo. But fuck, he is so goddamn funny. I love me some Al Bundy.
I
And
remember
you know, from a writing coach of yours, wrote for the show, correct?
correct, yeah. And I feel like um talking to him, I'm like, oh, you clearly wrote for the show because your humor is definitely in line with like all the jokes in that show.
Totally.
It's very like punchline, punchline, punchline. You know what I mean? Um,
Totally.
anyway, that's a favorite show of mine. But this is my last one, and my last one's gonna be controversial.
Oh,
And
I just see. That's your last one.
and growing
Woo!
up, I'm just thinking about.
Don't cancel us.
I'm not thinking about the actor. I'm thinking about the character. The
Okay.
actor played a character named Cliff Huxtable in The Cosby Show, played by the one and only disgusting person, poor excuse of a human, Bill Cosby. And I know, but I feel like a hypocrite in the sense that I would still say that Michael Jackson is like a very prominent part of my growing up as like one of the top
Yeah.
top singers of our lifetime.
Totally.
And I think that Bill Cosby may be one of the top TV dads of our lifetime, despite the fact that he was a shitty person. And I don't think people can even find this show anymore. I feel like it's not in syndication, because of all the shitty things
Totally.
he's done. But if I'm being fair, I thought this show was groundbreaking. I thought that he did a phenomenal job. They dealt with some pretty serious topics like dyslexia. It was the first time I saw dyslexia on TV, and
Mhm.
like teen pregnancy, and I also think that it was nice to see uh, a prominent, affluent black family. Because I feel like when I was growing up, in the early, I guess in the late '80s, Nell Carter played like what, like
Don't lie.
huh?
So don't lie. When did you grow up?
Well, grew up in the '80s and '90s, but I feel like there's a lot of actresses that are and actors that played very blue collar jobs, and I think it was about time that we saw a very loving, affluent black family. So Cliff Huxtable was, I think, an obstetrician, a gyno, I think, and his wife Claire. I guess
Of
that
course he
fits.
was.
Of course he was, and Claire Huxtable, I think, was a lawyer. Um, and the way that he dealt with his kids was brilliant. It incorporated a lot of his stand-up. His stand-up was really funny too back in the day.
Mhm.
So no, I think that I always wish that my family was like that family.
Yeah, except for,
Now I look back, I'm like, wow, we all fell for it. But if I'm
now
being
you're like, we are
objective,
just like that family.
he was my favorite TV dad growing up.
Yeah, and not just yours. A lot of people, and unfortunately, uh, and I mean, like you said, the show's no longer in syndication. That show used to be everywhere, Nick at Night. It would
Oh
play
yeah,
fucking and like every goddamn channel you could find the Cosby Show. So unfortunately, the actor really crushed a lot of people's childhoods for the character. But in hindsight, it is weird. He was like a gyno. Like you see, today at work, I had this lady, you see, with a little and I had to go in there like what, and I went,
yeah, pretty much.
and then I gave her a Jello pudding pop. Yeah, kind of random artistic choice for him. Like I feel like he could have been a cardiologist. That would have made sense too.
Yeah,
Any other kind of doctor.
any kind of
I like to
doctor,
look at
but
women's eyes every day.
they licked his pudding pop, and then he had to have them sign an NDA.
That's right. That's right. And God, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough because that show, and like for example, Bill Cosby was in Ghost Dad, which is a fucking wonderful
I
movie.
love that movie.
That movie was great, but now I can't watch Ghost Dad. I don't want to think of Bill Cosby's ghost following me around, hacking my phone and shit. No way, man. Yeah, he really fucked that up. And like, there's so many people that grew up idolizing that show. It's not just you. I've definitely heard him from a lot of actors too, and comedians who are like, "That was my show, man." And how do you go back and watch that after that Bill Cosby was out there, especially because his character
Right.
name, even though he was Cliff Huxtable, it was still like the Cosby Show. So like, it's literally his name is on the goddamn show, which is weird. There was the Cosby Show, and the family was not named Cosby, but that's a whole nother.
I never thought about that. Not the
That's a whole
Huxtable
nother.
show.
Yeah, it's weird now that I think about it. That's a whole nother can of worms. Yeah, it was. Sorry, Bill, but you fucked it up for yourself. And now I feel also bad for all those other actors who worked on the show who were definitely getting used to those residuals for all those years. And now they got no income anymore.
And maybe even a spin-off a different world, because I haven't seen that on syndication either.
Yeah, they fucked it up for everybody. And they weren't able to bounce back. Like Roseanne got canceled, but then they at least were still filming the new show. So they were able to move on without her. Now it's the Connors, and it's doing just as well without her. Uh, you know, without Bill Cosby, you got nothing with this recipe. So that fucks. But
Anyways,
on to the last one. Last one on my list. This TV dad, not only do I think is the funniest, but he literally is like half where my sense of humor comes from. I've quoted this person at people who have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about for years. And sometimes Sometimes I get a laugh, but I'm not gonna lie. 90% of the times, it's like a weird line that he said that no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
You also exclusively eat donuts with strawberry frosting?
That's right. That's right. No, I don't. I have to say, I do like my favorite donut is a chocolate donut with white frosting and sprinkles. I feel like that's fucking. Or if they have like a stuffed donut, for a while, Krispy Kreme had donuts that were stuffed with dulce de leche, which was fucking epic. That's my
I
favorite donut
love a
ever.
good double stuff myself. Wait,
That's
are we
the
talking
one.
about food? Oh, then I'm sorry, I can't I don't know.
No, hate it. Hate it.
It's okay.
But
Simo.
this TV dad, the show didn't start out about him, but he quickly became one of the stars by getting funnier and funnier every goddamn season. And now he's an icon. And I'm talking about Homer Simpson from obviously The Simpsons, voiced by the one and only Dan Castellaneta. And hold on, my doggy wants to come up. Come on, Stella, come on. There she goes. Enjoy me. But he is a role. And again, when I started watching The Simpsons, I loved Bart. Like that was my, obviously I wasn't thinking about the dad role as much. But as I got older, Homer became. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say dumber in some ways, but definitely wackier and quirkier. And just, I feel like the character really hit. And he just easily became my guy. And in some ways as well, Homer Simpson reminds me of my dad too. So
Oh,
there's a
really?
very yes. Obviously, my dad is a very smart guy, but he Homer Simpson had a lot of like realistic reactions and things like that. Like for example, when I was younger, my family and I were visiting Florida, and we had never been to New York City. This is when I was like 11 or 12, right before the year before we moved to America. And we wanted to go, and we were trying to convince my dad that we really wanted to go. Come on, let's go see New York City. And my dad actually, as a kid, when he was maybe like late teens, early teens, spent some time in New York City with his dad, and they like lived out there for a few months or maybe even a year. And at the time, he was like, New York City was a shithole. And he's like, I don't want to go back to New York City. You're serious? And he's like telling all these awful stories. And he's like, New York fucking sucks. It's dirty. It's full of hookers and pimps. And as he is literally going through this diatribe, that new episode of The Simpsons aired that week. And it was the episode of The Simpsons Go to New York City. And I shit you not, it shows Homer Simpson literally saying the exact same things that my dad is saying about New York. And then he retells his like story, which they show kind of like a 1930s little like sound thing. On him in New York City, and like literally everybody robs him, even the birds like take his wallet from his back pocket. It's like he has like the worst time. And it just like after that, I couldn't look at him the same. My dad was Homer Simpson, and they even had physical similarities to some degree. But Homer Simpson, in some ways, is so goddamn relatable. He has like the episodes where he just wants to stay home from church. He works all the goddamn time, and he's like sitting there like, I am a toasty cinnamon bun. Homer Simpson is total vibes, and he's funny, he's quirky, but he also loves the shit out of his family. Like there's the episodes where he talks about how when Bart was born, and they talk about their struggles, and he was a guy that didn't have a lot of money, so he had to make his life everything. Like for example, he had to propose to Marge Simpson with an onion ring, which I thought was, you'd think, oh, that's so get up, and then you watch the episode and it's so fucking sweet the way that it happens. Um, he's a guy
You
that led
know,
with his heart.
I
So,
used to think growing up that Roseanne had the best Halloween episodes until I watched
oh yeah, The
The Simpsons
Simpsons
Halloween episode, and I was
are
like,
so good.
Roseanne, her punk ass got some competition. When I was younger, I had a Bart Simpson stuffed animal that had a huge plastic face and head, but the rest of
Yeah,
his body
I had that,
was
and the
stuffed.
fucking head hurt so bad if you had
Oh
something with
yeah,
it. That was like a
and
12-pound head, and the rest was like plushy.
yeah, And so I would say things to my parents, aunts, uncles, grandma, whatever. I would say, "Eat my shorts" and all this stuff, and then when they
Yeah.
turn around to backhand me, I'd be like, "Whoa, it wasn't me, it was Bart. I didn't say it. Not from this mouth." So,
Ooh,
um,
you just reminded me. I just found out. You know that the lady that plays Bart Simpson, I think it's Nancy Cartwright.
yeah.
She is the aunt of Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, really?
Yep. Just found
Oh,
that out.
wow.
I had no idea, but that's fucking wild.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Crazy. Oh, and
Small
speaking of
world.
Halloween episodes, just reminded me there's a Halloween episode where Homer goes to hell and he's like terrified. He's in this chair and he's like strapped down and shit. And this like demon's like, "Oh, so you like donuts, eh? Well, now you'll see how many donuts you can eat." And it's literally like a machine that just like comes with like unlimited donuts, and he's sitting there like nom 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 nom. And
Num
then it
num num
like
num.
fast forwards to I guess days later, and Homer is like ginormous at this point, and the demon is like super frustrated, like talk to his coworkers, like, "What the hell? He's still eating!" And he's like, Homer looks like he's got no signs of slowing down whatsoever. And that to me is vibes. Or when he sues an all-you-can-eat buffet because he goes to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and eventually he keeps eating and eating and eating, and the place has to kick him out because they want to close. But he said, "I paid for all you can eat, and it was not ready to be done with all you can eat." And he actually like ends up in court for this shit. It's like that's vibes, dude. So I love me some Homer Simpson. I think he is by far the greatest, the funniest TV dad of all
Well, he
time.
has the most
So I salute
longevity
you.
compared to everyone else on the list. I can't
That's
think of a
right.
TV dad that's been doing it longer.
That's right. And with no signs of stopping anytime soon, too.
And
So
who ever thought that a silly cartoon where everyone has yellow skin was going to be um such a phenomenon and such a
seriously.
force to be reckoned with? It's crazy.
Seriously. It's wild that it's been, I mean, what, like 37 seasons at this point? Like,
At least 30. Because
it's
I'm
insane.
39 and I watched it as a kid.
Yeah. I think the first season came out in 89, if I remember correctly. The first official season, but the show debuted on the Carol Burnett show, sorry, comedian, as a short thing, and it was totally different but similar a few years earlier. So it was in concept from like 84, maybe even 85. So, but it's wild how long it's been on the air. Holy shit. But anyways,
That's our
that
list.
was our list, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what you thought of the funniest TV dad list. Let us know if there's any that you missed. For example, Phil Dunphy from Modern Family almost made this list, but he was very close. It's a tight list. So let us know if there's other TV dads that you think would have made the top 10. Give us a follow on all social channels. Not Frat Chat Podcast. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter/X. That's on Threads. And I have to cough. 1 second. Ooh, I feel better.
Turn
Give
your
us
head
a
and
follow.
cough.
An email at fratchatpodcast@gmail.com as well. Or you can follow me. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. You can check out my Instagram or all social media at Carlos Does the World. That's Instagram. That's Twitter. That's TikTok. That's Threads. That's YouTube. You can also give my buddy Seam over here a follow at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and see more comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah.
Or you can pick up the latest issue of Crack Horror Magazine. You'll see me right on front.
Right on the cover. Oh, yeah. So, all right, Mr. Moe, it is time to go. So, won't you please get us out of here?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second. All right, you guys, we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. See ya!
Bye.